What if the Roman Empire never really fell? Imagine a world where Rome's glory continued, not in Rome itself, but in a new city of golden domes and towering walls, Constantinople. Situated on the site of the ancient city of Byzantium, which bridged Europe and Asia, Constantinople would come to symbolize Rome's endurance. In today's story, we're going to uncover the hidden twists that kept Rome alive in the East and follow the journey of an empire that stood resilient for over 1,000 years. But stay tuned, because there's a moment in this tale where betrayal from the unlikeliest of allies sealed its fate. Let's dive into the legacy of Byzantium, an empire that dared to call itself the true Rome. Picture the city of Rome at dusk, a heart of an empire that once ruled over 3 continents, now teetering as Germanic tribes pressed on its borders. By 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire had crumbled, leaving behind memories of a former grandeur. But even as Rome struggled, Byzantium, renamed Constantinople by Emperor Constantine in 330 AD, thrived. Its strategic location between Europe and Asia made it a critical trade hub and fortress. Constantine's decision to establish a, quote, new Rome on the Bosporus was pivotal. The empire's pulse now beat in Constantinople, a city designed to withstand the ravages of time. With formidable walls, Constantinople stood against invaders who might have reduced another city to rubble. But would this new Rome survive longer than the original? In Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire flourished, shaping its own path, yet claiming Rome's legacy. The Byzantines inherited Latin culture and Roman governance, but they adopted the Greek language and Orthodox Christianity, creating a new identity. By the 7th century, Greek had officially replaced Latin, signaling a definitive cultural shift. The Byzantines saw themselves as the rightful heirs of Rome, even as they crafted their own traditions. Emperors bore titles like Augustus and ruled under Roman ideals, but the culture and faith began to reflect a uniquely Byzantine character. Yet as Byzantium evolved, could it hold on to its Roman roots, or would a new identity emerge entirely? Fast forward to the 6th century, where Emperor Justinian, a man with grand dreams, ruled Constantinople. His ambition? To restore the glory of the Roman Empire, not just through conquests, but also in law and culture. Justinian's military campaigns extended across North Africa, Carthage, parts of Italy, and even into Spain, seeking to bring fractured territories under one rule again. These campaigns, though bold, were costly, draining Byzantium's treasury and straining its defenses. Despite his vast ambitions, Justinian's efforts had limits. Would these conquests safeguard Byzantium's future, or would they only stretch the empire's resources to a breaking point? While his conquests are noteworthy, Justinian's most enduring legacy was his codification of Roman law. The Corpus Juris Civilis, or Justinian's Code, was a legal milestone that would shape legal systems across Europe for centuries. Imagine the emperor himself overseeing laws that would resonate in future courtrooms around the world. But what drove Justinian to create the code? Was it a desire for justice, or a bid to cement his name in history? Regardless, Justinian's Code proved a vital link between the ancient Roman world and the emerging societies of medieval Europe. His legal legacy marked a milestone, standing as one of the most lasting achievements of the Byzantine era. Justinian's vision wasn't limited to law, though. He left a lasting architectural legacy, with Constantinople crowned by buildings like the Hagia Sophia. Completed in 537 AD, the Hagia Sophia, with its massive floating dome, seemed to defy gravity itself. Inside, light filtered through its windows as if it was pouring directly from heaven. This marvel of engineering and devotion stood as the heart of Byzantine Christianity and influenced Islamic architecture in later centuries, becoming an icon of Byzantine splendor. Yet, even the grandest of structures couldn't protect Byzantium from the storms of fate. Could the spirit of resilience endure amid looming threats? Well, in 542 AD, a catastrophic plague hit Constantinople, killing vast swaths of its population. Even Emperor Justinian fell ill, barely surviving. The pandemic drained the empire of resources and manpower, leaving Byzantium weakened at a critical juncture. This deadly outbreak, viewed as a precursor to the Black Death, halted Justinian's ambitions and scarred Byzantium's growth. Did this plague serve as a dark omen, a reminder of the limits to Justinian's vision? The emperor's resilience would be tested time and time again, facing crises that demanded adaptability and grit. Byzantium endured and even flourished, entering a golden age in the 9th and 10th centuries. Constantinople became a center of trade, culture, and intellect. Byzantine art and literature reached new heights, and scholars like Photius and Leo the mathematician contributed to an intellectual renaissance that extended the empire's influence. As the empire reached these cultural heights, however, new enemies from both east and west began eyeing its prosperity. Would Byzantium's golden age continue, or was the empire about to face a storm of external threats? The 11th century saw the growing rift between the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church culminate in the Great Schism of 1054. Theological and political differences led to a definitive split. This division isolated Byzantium, especially as it now faced powerful Islamic caliphates to the east in the rising Seljuk Turks. How did Byzantium defend its territory and faith against threats from all sides, especially when divided from Western allies? During the Fourth Crusade of 1204, Western Crusaders shockingly turned their attention toward Constantinople, sacking the city that they had come to protect. Churches were desecrated, treasures looted, and the empire's spirit crushed. Byzantium never fully recovered from this betrayal. Once seen as Rome's rightful heir, the empire now bore the scars of a brutal attack by supposed allies. Could Byzantium ever rebuild, or was this brutal betrayal the true beginning of its end? By the 14th century, the Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former self, reduced to Constantinople and surrounding territories. Yet, in these twilight years, the empire remained a center of faith, art, and learning. Scholars fleeing Constantinople would later spark the Renaissance in Western Europe, carrying with them the precious manuscripts that reignited interest in classical knowledge. Would Byzantium's intellectual influence shape the future, even as the empire itself declined? Well, in 1453, Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire launched a final assault on Constantinople. Cannons battered the city's once impregnable walls as Ottoman forces swarmed. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the defenders fought with desperate resolve. But on May 29th of 1453, Constantinople fell. Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque, and Constantinople became Istanbul. Was this truly the end of the Byzantine legacy, or would it live on just in new ways? Even with the fall of Constantinople, Byzantium's influence rippled across history. Byzantine scholars helped ignite the Renaissance, with Orthodox Christianity shaping Eastern Europe and Russia. The idea of Rome itself would live on, with Moscow later claiming to be the third Rome, inheriting Byzantium's spiritual legacy. In the end, Byzantium wasn't just an empire, it was a bridge between the ancient and medieval worlds, a fusion of Greek, Roman, and Christian traditions that would resonate across time. Its story reminds us that empires may fall, but legacies endure. So as we look back on Byzantium, we may ask, was it a continuation of Rome or something entirely new? And if Byzantium had survived, would the world look different today? We'll let these questions linger as we close this chapter of history. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and we'll catch you in the next chapter of history.